Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. The fight that I think the majority of boxing fans want to see. And for my money, at this stage, is probably the biggest fight in the world of boxing. Ever since Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz and it made the Wilder fight kind of less of a want, I think that this fight, and even when AJ was champion, I still would have preferred to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence than I would have Wilder Joshua. I think that this fight, it really is a fantastic fight. It's a mixture of two styles. It's a mixture of two pound for pound fighters. Crawford is arguably, and in my opinion he is, the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And in my opinion, he's the number one welterweight in the world. Errol Spence, he is in my opinion the number two welterweight in the world. And he's definitely in my pound for pound top 10. Definitely. Both fighters are tremendous. Both have skills. Both have a few little weaknesses here and there. But they're still both tremendous, tremendous fighters. I've always said, if this fight happens, I will pick Terence Crawford to win on points. But that's not a foregone conclusion. That's not a gospel statement. Errol Spence definitely has a chance, but I would pick Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence. Okay? Having said all that, it looks very, very, very unlikely that we're actually going to see this fight anytime soon. Now, Errol Spence has signed up for a unification with Sean Porter, which is all well and good in September, I believe. And that's a good fight. Errol Spence shouldn't look past Sean Porter. Sean Porter is a very, very capable fighter. Very capable. You know, he's probably... Errol Spence is very physically strong. Sean Porter is probably stronger. You know, he's got a good pair of legs. You know, strong legs, can move. Not the biggest puncher in the world, but Sean Porter, he's still a good fighter. Very good fighter. So, Errol Spence, be well advised to take Sean Porter very serious. This isn't going to be a Mikey Garcia. This is going to be a live, fully fledged welterweight, a big welterweight. You know, we thought Kell Brook was big. Sean Porter's bigger. I'm telling you. This guy was a middleweight in the amateurs. He fought Alexander Usyk. He beat Usyk in the amateurs, did Sean Porter, many years ago. Beat Danny Jacobs, as far as I know, in the amateurs. So there's a cruiserweight in the super middle that Sean Porter beat in the amateurs, and he's fighting at welterweight. Okay? Now, why am I talking about this fight? Well, there was a statement released. I don't know if it was a statement, it was more a news story anyway, that Al Haymon and PBC fighters will no longer consider the WBO as a legit title. Okay? The WBO, which has been recognised as a legit world title for the better part of, 15 years, maybe more, since Lewis Klitschko fought, about then. The WBO and the IBF are probably two of the least corrupt sanctioning bodies. Okay? They're probably the two best in terms of the BS. Right? There was a statement released, and you're actually going to see the tweet on screen. That is from the president of the WBO, and it says, if this is truly their position, PBC statement regarding the WBO confirmate what the press and boxing fans already know. It's a misguided attempt to avoid the possible unification bout between WBO welterweight champion Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Essentially what they're saying is that they won't be essentially fighting PBC fighters for WBO titles. Okay? So they're basically saying that, which essentially means you're not likely to see a Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight. Now my question is, if the WBO title is worthless and you don't class it as a real title, why hasn't Andy Ruiz vacated? He's got a WBO title at heavyweight. I'm sure they'd have no problem sticking Deontay Wilder in with Andy Ruiz if Anthony Joshua didn't take the rematch. Why? Why are you not counting it? Because they don't want to work with Bob Arum and they don't want this unification fight to happen. This is a fight that boxing fans want to see, and at the moment it looks like Al Haymon is the one stopping it. Bob Arum, to his credit, I think he wants this fight. I think he believes so fully in Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence that he's happy to make that fight. And as I said, I think Terence Crawford would beat Errol Spence. It would be a close fight. It'd be a fantastic fight. I can't guarantee Crawford to win. That's why I want to see it. I want to see what happened. But it looks likely we're not going to get this fight now because PBC or Al Haymon have come out and basically said that they don't class the WBO as a legit world title. Despite the fact, as I've said, Andy Ruiz Jr. holds the WBO world heavyweight title. Bob Arum and Frank Warren are two promoters who are known to have a good relationship with the WBO. Ever since Manny Pacquiao beat Miguel Cotto for the WBO title, Bob Arum has been, you see Bob Arum fighters highly ranked in the WBO, they fight for a lot of WBO titles. You see him with Ramirez, Gilberto Ramirez, WBO champion. Manny Pacquiao, when he was with him, he was always fighting for WBO titles. Jesse Vargas, Timothy Bradley, just to name a few, just think off the top of my head. Floyd Mayweather would never pay sanctions to WBO. When he beat Pacquiao, he didn't take the WBO title, he didn't pay sanctions as far as I'm aware. So, it's when it suits Al Haymon and PBC, they want to recognise the WBO as a legit world title. But when it doesn't, they don't want to. If that was the case, you could do it with everything. Nobody rates the IBO as a legit world title. You're not going to see anybody queuing up for a unification for that. But yet you would for the WBO title. Most people would love to get ranked by the WBO and win that title. To me, this is a clear indication that PBC, Al Haymon, I think Errol Spence wants the Crawford fight. I do. I think deep down he wants that Crawford fight. But whatever's going on in PBC with Al Haymon, they don't want to know. They don't want this fight to happen for whatever reason. So now they're coming out with excuses like this, that they're not going to rank or class the WBO as a legit title. Thinking off the top of my head, which PBC fighters have actually held the WBO title? When you think about it in retrospect, you've Andy Ruiz, which is fair enough. Who else has actually held a WBO title from the PBC stable? Honestly, I'm thinking off the top of my head, I actually can't seem to think of any. Might come to me, but at this minute in time, I'm struggling here. So maybe there's some truth to it, but I still think that this is just a poor attempt to try and stop this unification from happening in the immediate future. I do. And I hope we get to see this fight. I really do. This is a fight I really want to see. And it's a fight, at this stage, I want to see more than any other fight in boxing. I've seen Canelo Triple G before. I've seen, Klitschko versus AJ, which was fantastic. I've seen a lot of these big fights. This is the next one I want to see. I'm going to cut this video here because it's gone over 8 minutes. I don't want to be going on for too long on these videos. So I'm going to leave it here. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. Comment down below what you think. Do you think Al Haymon and PBC are trying to block this fight from happening? Or do you even think we will see this fight happen? I hope we do. I really do. Let me know what you think down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peter Quillen, had to just throw that in there. He was an Al Haymon fighter who had the WBO title. Just throwing that in there. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave it here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video. And as always, I will talk to you after.